Why Europe will now have to choose between guns and butter.
Look, I get it. Tariffs are bad. I've heard it from everyone. Economists, X-threads, even you guys. They raise prices, slow trade, hurt consumers. Fine, agreed. Which begs the question, if tariffs are so terrible, why did other nations have them on the United States first? Back in 2015, no Trump, no 2025 tariff waves, just facts. The US had 0 tariffs on Canadian dairy, 0 on poultry, 0 on eggs, 0 on lumber. The softwood lumber agreement expired October 12, 2015, and no duties would be due for a year later, till 2016. We took it all, but Canada? Supply management since the 1970s. 200 to 300% over quota on our dairy, 245% cheese, 298% butter, 238 to 289% on chicken, 150 to 168% on eggs. That blocked over $2 billion in US dairy exports annually. Their farmers locked us out, and with prices high at home, exports flowed south. The United States didn't fight. We let them build the wall first. Europe's no different. EU common external tariff, locked in since 1995, simple average, 13.7% on US farm goods. Dairy, 32.3%. Poultry and meats, 19% plus bans like chlorine-washed chicken. Blocked since 97. No US poultry in France, Germany, Denmark, or the Netherlands. All shielded. Switzerland, 31.9% aggregate average pre-2015. 101% on dairy. 125% on poultry. Norway, 51.3% average. Prohibitive walls on food. We stayed open, they walled us off. So who shot first? Not the US. Other nations set up these barriers decades ago. We decided to play nice. But here's a gut punch. Imagine the roles are reversed. You pay taxes. Your money funds someone else's healthcare, their free college, their pensions. You get nothing. No universal safety net, no free stuff. Then they tariff the hell out of your exports. 200% on dairy, 30% on chicken, while you fund their entire defense? Would you sit quiet? Or would you vote for someone who says enough, who kicks back just a little? That's not spite, that's reciprocity. Now defense. NATO 2014 pledge, 2% GDP. 2015, only 3 allies hit it. Canada, 1.2%. Germany, 1.6%. Denmark, 1.11%. Netherlands, 1.1%. Norway, 1.58%. France, 1.78%. The UK actually committed and brought in 2.03%. The US, 3.51%, carrying 70% of the load. Through 2023, Canada averaged 1.3%, Germany 1.3%, Denmark 1.3%, the Netherlands 1.3%, Norway 1.7%, France 1.85%, and the US never dipped below 3.1%. That saved hundreds of billions. Think tanks estimate 1.9 trillion euros across Europe since the 90s, redirected straight to welfare. Public social spending, US around 19% GDP, mostly Medicare and Social Security. Europe, France 31.6%, Germany 28.6%, Denmark, 27.9%. Norway, 26.4%. The Netherlands, 26%. They brag universal health care, free college, generous pensions, while we pay for their defense? Guns versus butter, and they chose butter. We chose guns, and they insult us for it. No safety net. Yeah, because we're funding yours. So what did we do? Not blanket war, measured pushback. Post-2015 lumber duties, 8 to 18% on Canada. Steel and aluminum, 25 and 10% stayed. Now, 2025, 10 to 50% blanket tariffs because they still won't drop their walls. Reciprocal, not stab in the back. They tariffed first. We mirrored. And now, the conversation has shifted again. Trump has repeatedly discussed a potential reversal to a Monroe Doctrine-style policy, sometimes called the Trump-Roe Doctrine in commentary. The idea? The United States would focus defense and security resources exclusively on the Western Hemisphere. No more forward deployed troops in Europe. No more bases. No more automatic Article 5 guarantee. The US would defend its own hemisphere and leave Europe to handle its own defense. What would that mean for Europe? A full US pullout creates an immediate security vacuum. The United States currently provides the backbone of NATO: air superiority, satellite intelligence, missile defense, nuclear umbrella, and roughly 100,000 forward deployed troops. Without that, deterrence weakens overnight. Russia could test borders, the Baltics, Poland's Suwalki Gap, or the Black Sea. Within months, Eastern Europe becomes highly vulnerable. Western Europe would scramble to fill the gap, but current spending levels, 1.2 to 1.9% GDP, mean they'd need to double or triple defense budgets. 300 to 500 billion euros extra per year across the EU. That money has to come from somewhere. Either massive tax hikes or deep cuts to the welfare programs they currently brag about. Universal healthcare, free university, generous pensions. The guns versus butter trade-off becomes unavoidable. NATO would effectively dissolve or fragment. The EU might attempt its own army, but political disagreements, France versus Germany, Eastern versus Western priorities, would slow it for years. Energy prices would spike if Russia disrupts supplies. Trade routes become riskier. Europe would be forced to negotiate directly with Russia and China from a position of weakness. The United States, meanwhile, saves hundreds of billions annually and focuses inward. No more subsidizing allies who tariffed us first and skimped on defense. So next time someone bitches about tariffs, NATO dropouts, or Trump stabbed us in the back, remember, they tariffed our farms first, skimped on defense, bragged about welfare we subsidized. Now the math's clear. It's time for the EU to choose guns or butter.